Most of the times, I hear people ask me this question: could gambling be considered an investment? Just hear it plainly from me today. Gambling is not an investment. Gambling is just like you are playing a game. So you are putting your money in a game of chance. What are the chances that you win that game? It's 50-50. So instead of putting your money in something that is a game of chance that you are not even guaranteed any outcome, any positive outcome, why not take that money and look for at least an alternative form of investment that could produce a certain percentage of return? There are several other options there to make money than putting your money in gambling. And the thing about gambling is not just in the game itself, it's in the addiction that it gets to people. People get too addicted to it that, even if they make something out of it, they tend to want, and it's like greed. Instead of you taking your money and putting your money in something that will generate you returns on a regular, you rather want to go and make quick money. So you are trying to double the amount of money that you put into gambling because you feel like you can be able to make or build the kind of wealth that you want to build overnight. There are no shortcuts to these things. There are certain financial principles that must be followed. And if you don't cultivate the right positive financial habits, you cannot be able to build a long-lasting, reliable wealth that you have thought about and you want to do. So it's important to make that financial step where you say to yourself, I'm going to get rid of gambling. Instead of putting my money into something of sort, I'll take that money and focus on things that will generate me real-time wealth. That is very, very important. Number two, the financial habit that you should get rid of is getting rid of debt. I've seen people that have been in a situation where they are in so much debt that it becomes very difficult for them to come out of. You see someone that doesn't have a financial plan and he just borrows money from different loan apps to offset each app. You take from here to offset the other. Robbing Peter to pay Paul. That is not the right way to live. Hear it from me today. You can't live your life like someone who doesn't have a target, a goal, in front of you. You have to come to that place in your life where you plan your finance in such a way that you don't live off debt. Debt in itself, it's good when you use it for the right purpose. But most times, people who live off debt, they don't use it for the right purpose. Someone can be borrowing money to impress someone. You see someone today driving a Ferrari, for example, and you decide that I want to also drive that Ferrari. You are pressured by social status. You are pressured by, the lifestyle that someone else is living. You don't know if that person that has that Ferrari is purchasing that Ferrari out of his one of his stream of income, of his multiple streams of income. The person might just be funding that Ferrari for one of his businesses that among several other businesses that he or she has. But you, not knowing that, you want to live up to that certain standard that the person has. And you know your own financial pocket, you know your financial situation. Because you want to impress and want to have that ability to want to belong to the environment, to that level, you tend to put yourself in so much debt and stress yourself financially. That shouldn't be the case for you. Always ensure that you are getting rid of debt. If you have so much debt, instead of, I keep saying to people, if you are someone that is in so much debt and you go to a restaurant, the only thing you should be doing in the restaurant is if you are working there. You have no business in a restaurant if you have so much debt to deal with. You can't be in so much debt and you are living a lifestyle that does not even show that you are in debt. You see, ensure that you get rid of debt. Focus on your debt. If there is a challenge, with your financial situation, try to get rid of your debt. There are several methods you could use. I've talked about in so many of my videos. I've talked about the avalanche method. I've talked about the snowball method, where you eliminate your debt. Like for example, the snowball method is focusing on the debt that has the highest interest rate and eliminating it to the one with the lowest interest rate. So you focus on the ones with the highest interest rate and make sure that you eliminate those debt first, and then you can focus on the ones with the lower interest rate. But the avalanche method is different, right? Because you are with the avalanche method, you are focusing on the debt that has the lowest interest rate and clearing it to the one with the highest interest rate. So it's important to pay attention to your debt. Don't use debt to finance your lifestyle. This is very, very important. The avalanche method is a method where you focus on prioritizing the debts that has the highest interest rate. You pay those ones first, and then you go down gradually in eliminating the debts with the lowest interest rate. Whereas when you are talking about the snowball method, you are talking about focusing on prioritizing the debts with the lowest interest rate, paying those ones out first, and then eliminating the ones with the highest interest rate. So whichever method you want to use, the most important thing is staying consistent with clearing your debts. This is very, very, very important. Now, the third and final financial habit that you should get rid of is the habit of not budgeting. I see people, they don't even have a sense of direction when it comes to their finances. Budgeting in itself is one of the building blocks of every successful financial journey. If you see someone that is wealthy today and that does not budget, there's a problem, because budgeting shows you and gives you a sense of direction as to where your monies are coming in from, what kind of expenses you are incurring, and how you are performing when it comes to your finance. It's very important because that's what gives you control over your finances. So someone that doesn't have the ability to budget, I wonder how he or she lives with his finances, because it's important to use budgeting as a building block for creating that wealth that you require. There are several budgeting apps, several budgeting tools, several budgeting templates that you could adopt in order to, get to allocate your funds accordingly. I've seen situations of people where they feel like budgeting is like a burden. It's not a burden. It's not difficult at all. You just have to have a template of how, to inculcate your money in several ways so that you can have a better control over your money. You don't have to get to that point in your life where you don't have a budget. Very, very important. If you are someone that is single, if you are someone that is married, it doesn't matter. Always ensure that you are budgeting, paying attention to the things that are important, because then you will see, as you budget and you review your budget, you will see that there are certain maybe expenses that you don't need to incur. There can be some unused subscriptions that you always subscribe every month that you don't even know. I ask people, when was even the last time you pick up your bank statement and you're having a review, an audit of your bank statement, for example? Because sometimes we neglect some of these little things that might be very, very important, especially when it comes to our finances. You might just be getting billed for something that you are not using. And at the end of the year, imagine how significant that will contribute to your yearly income. So budgeting is something that you should be doing. And the habit of not budgeting is a very bad habit, and it's detrimental to your financial health. So it's important for you to always budget. So these three things I've just talked about, they are very, very key. Gambling is something that is not good for your financial health, especially when you become so addicted to it. So get rid of gambling. Debt, when it's not used the right way, can cause a lot of damage to your finances. So make sure you are getting rid of your debt. Try to eliminate your debt, And like I just said, budgeting. Not budgeting is like a problem, It's just that you're putting your finances in limbo because you will not have a sense of direction. You won't know how your monies are coming, what kind of expenses your money are going into, and you become in a state of confusion. So you have to have a structure, a plan with your budget. Very, very important. So I just thought to share these three important subjects with you today, especially when it comes to habits, financial habits. If you like this podcast and you want to get more of this kind of content, I would indulge you to rate this podcast 5 star, subscribe to this podcast channel, let others know that we talk about things that are very, very helpful to them financially. And until I see you again in my next episode, always ensure to stay healthy with your finances. Make the right decisions when it comes to your finances and focus on building your finances to the level that you want to build it to create the kind of wealth that you require. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again soon.